Hi, this is King of Review. The graph of quadratic function y equals negative 2x squared is translated to the right by 1 unit and up by 3 units. Find the equation of the graph after the translation. So we have a parent graph here, y equals negative 2x squared, and it's translated right by 1 unit and up 3 units. So our parent graph is translated both horizontally and vertically. For this problem, I'll plot the parabola of the parent function, and then I'll plot the parabola of the translated function. Our parent function is y equals negative 2x squared. This will be a parabola. A parabola looks like this, and it has something called an axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is the vertical line passing through the turning point of the parabola. It also has a point on it called the vertex, which is right here. A good way to graph a parabola is to plot the vertex and then a couple of points on either side of the vertex. Then you can fill in the parabola and graph it. So let's do that. Let's come up with some points on our parent function here, and then we can plot the parabola. So I have a table of values here, and I'm going to start with x coordinates of 0, 1, and 2. You can choose any x coordinates you want. I like to choose the vertex and then a couple of points on either side. So what we'll do is plug in each of these x values into our parent equation, y equals negative 2x squared, and solve for the y coordinate. When x equals 0, we have negative 2 times 0 squared. This equals 0. So the point 0, 0 is on our parabola. When x equals 1, we have negative 2 times 1 squared. This equals negative 2. And when x equals 2, we have negative 2 times 2 squared. This equals negative 8. So now I have some points and I can plot our parent parabola. Here's our x-axis. And here's our y-axis. Okay, so now we're ready to plot these points. We have the point 0, 0. That's right here. This is our vertex. We have the point 1, negative 2, which is right here. And we have the point 2, negative 8, which is right here. Now, if I add a couple of other points so that we could graph the other side of the parabola, I'm going to add in a negative 1 and a negative 2 here. When we plug in these values, when x equals negative 1, we have negative 2 times negative 1 squared. And this will give us a negative 2. And when x equals a negative 2, we have negative 2 times negative 2 squared. And this gives us a negative 8. Now I can plot some points on the other side of the vertex. So we have negative 1, negative 2. That's right here. And we have the point negative 2, negative 8, which is right here. So now you see I can fill in our parabola using these points. And there's our parent function. This is y equals negative 2x squared. So the next thing I'm going to do is make a table of values for our translated function. So we know that our translated function started with the parent function of y equals negative 2x squared, and it was moved to the right by 1 unit and up by 3 units. When something moves to the left or right, that's a change in the x-coordinate. Since it's going to the right, so it's going in this direction here, by 1 unit. So our x-coordinate is going to be increased by 1 because it's going to the right 1 unit. And our y, this represents a vertical change since it's going up 3 units. So our y value is going to move up 3 units. This is going to add 3 to our y-coordinate. So let's do that on our new table of values here. We started with 0, 0 on the parent graph, and it was moved right 1 unit. So that means we're going to add 1 to this x value. So it will be 0 plus 1. Let's do that for all the other x values. For this point here, we started with an x-coordinate of 1, and we're adding 1 to that. So that gives us a 2. And we'll keep going. The 2 changes to a 3. Negative 1 here plus 1 is a 0. And negative 2 plus 1 is a negative 1. Now let's look at the y-coordinate. We're moving our graph up by 3 units, so we're adding 3 to each of the y-coordinates here. So 0 plus 3 is 3, negative 2 plus 3 is 1, negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5, negative 2 plus 3 is 1, and negative 8 plus 3 is negative 5. So now we have a new table of values for our translated function. We can now graph this parabola. I'll do this graph in red so we can see the difference. Our first point is at 1, 3. That's right here. And this is our vertex. We have the point 2, 1, which is right here. The next point is at 3, negative 5, which is right here. We have a point at 0, 1, right here, and we have our point at negative 1, negative 5, which is right here. So now we can fill in this parabola. So the graph in red is the translated function, and the graph in black is our parent function. We can have an equation of a parabola in this form. Y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. When we have a parabola in this form, hk here represents the vertex. So the vertex is at the point hk. So let's look at our parent function. We have y equals negative 2x squared. And when we write this in this format, we have y equals negative 2 times x minus 0 squared plus 0. This is because the vertex for our parent function was at 0, 0. So our hk, which is our vertex, is 0, 0. Now, what happened when we translated? Well, we added a 1 to our x-coordinate, and we added a 3 to the y-coordinate. So our vertex went from 0, 0, and our new vertex is 1, 3. So let's go ahead and apply this to our parent function. So we have y equals negative 2 times x minus 1, because we added a 1 to this 0 here. This is squared plus 3, because we added a 3 to 0 here, which was our k value. So we have y equals negative 2 times x minus 1 squared plus 3. And this is the equation of our translated function. Therefore, letter B is correct. Thanks for watching.